Welcome back, everybody. So this is just an article. We have two actually. Check this out. The American Dream now costs $3.4 million. And it's a good segue into the American Dream for some is leaving the US. So this trend is only accelerated. It's not just passport bros. It's not just guys looking to go overseas to maximize dating or none of it. It's actual Americans, day-to-day families living under the pressure of the economy we're in today with inflation and crumbling infrastructure. Our schooling sucks. Our colleges are falling behind. They're becoming indoctrination camps. Everything that's going wrong in this society is. And people don't feel like this is a good place to raise families or just can't afford to raise families because the American dream is now $3.4 million. The classic 2 kids, a house, and a car costs more than what most make in a lifetime. That sounds like progress, doesn't it? Great. Remember, elections are around the corner. One team's going to tell you they're going to fix everything. They are not. The American Dream now costs $3.4 million. That's the estimated lifetime cost of common milestones, including marriage, 2 children, homes, healthcare, cars, and education. Watch these breakdowns because they're going to blow you away. For everybody living outside of America, yes, this is what it costs to have the American Dream. And when you hear about how much we pay for certain things, your head is probably going to explode. The average lifetime cost of a home, including a mortgage with a 10% down payment and a 30-year fixed rate of 7.2%, is now about $796,998 according to Investopedia's analysis. So here's what the cost is that they have it broken down. The cost of a wedding and engagement ring averaging at $35,800. The mortgage was $796. Lifetime car purchase total $271,330. Median out of pocket with insurance cost 2 baby deliveries in a hospital, $5,700. Yes, it costs money to deliver a baby. To have a baby born in the United States, it costs thousands of dollars. Imagine that. $576,000 goes into average cost of raising 2 children until the age of 18. Then you're spending a further $936,000 for the cost average of family health insurance premium. That's the lifetime. Then you're paying damn near $68,000 average lifetime cost per pet. Keep it going. $42,000 for college in-state tuition 1 year, including room and board for 2 children. $715,000 is the average amount needed to retire. And then $7,800 is the average cost of a funeral. You can't even die for free. Your family's going to owe almost 10 grand for every death. Wow. The average American Dream now costs 3.4 mils. That's the estimated lifetime cost of common milestones. It was one of Investopedia's top search terms of the year. It's typically used to refer to the major aspirational events and purchases like buying a home, a car, getting married, having kids, and prospering economically. But the rising costs have made the typical American dream out of reach for many. In fact, the average lifetime earnings of Americans across all education levels is approximately $2.3 million. That's over $1 million short of the estimated cost of the American dream, with costs associated with 10 aspects of life that individuals may need or choose for themselves. It's about a reflection of all the costs associated with life in the U.S. today and may include elements some may not choose for themselves, as well as exclude elements that may be necessary for some. Below is a description of how each cost was estimated and sourced. So for those that want to check out the detailed breakdown. So cost of delivering 2 kids, it shows all the sources it cites, all the numbers of what it costs. For example, the average premium for family coverage is $23,968 per year. There you go. That's insane. So we've all been talking about the channel, why passport bros is surging, why people getting passports in general is just blowing up, why moving out of the United States seems like the way to get ahead, and why it's a viable path for many people. And it says it right here. Because there is no other path. You're going to die destitute, broke, and working until you're 65 and retiring, 67 now, and maybe soon 71, and essentially work until you're dead for a pension that won't exist for you because they're effing off the entire economy. We have billions, hundreds of billions for foreign wars, but we can't fix our streets. We can't fix the crime problem. We can't fix the mass looting. We can't fix the crumbling cities, homelessness, mental illness, nothing. We have no money for the things that would help our society prosper and be healthier and safer. But we have all the money in the world. We have black holes of it to send overseas. It says the American dream for some is leaving the U.S. As recent polling suggests, a dwindling sense of confidence in the American dream. Some U.S. citizens are flocking to foreign countries in search of more affordability and flexibility than they experienced in the U.S. And this affordability and flexibility, firsthand, I can tell you, is incredible to experience when you come with an American salary. I'm not saying work there, but if you have your own business and it is online or remote in some fashion, or you may be just working for somebody and it's remote, and you go overseas and you find out that rent's $400 a month, $500 a month, food, everything all included, you're spending everything less than $1,000 a month, or $1,000 a month, or shit, even $2,000 a month. When you're only spending $2,000 a month, but you're living, you're not surviving. This is going out, grabbing coffees, hanging out with friends, spending money doing activities. That's $2,000 a month, and you get to live in a place that's safer, where you're not going to get stabbed or robbed or any of that. And that's my experience in Bucharest. I love how safe it is there. I love how welcoming the people are. I love how clean it is in the area I live. The food is amazing. The people are really nice. Whether it's Europe, so winter sucks, whatever. Spring, summer, and fall, incredible. I can drive to multiple nearby countries with amazing views and also amazing people and the food. You can eat out at a restaurant for like $70, feeds an entire family, not just one person. A drink doesn't cost you like $10, $12. It's $3, $4. You can Uber everywhere. You don't even need a car. Again, $2, $3, $4. That's all it costs to Uber. My cost of living has been cut in more than half, and my quality of life and the things I get to do have went up tenfold. Money just seems to be stacking up in the bank account now, yet I'm doing more of what I've wanted, and it's costing me less and less. And imagine you're trying to raise a family too. Like, why would you do it in the U.S.? You have to deal with the school system and maybe how woke it is. Then you have to deal with the government, HOAs, unsafe areas, the insane long commutes to work, because obviously you got to be in a safe suburban area for your family. You're not trying to work in the city. There's just so much that goes on, man. I haven't even visited LA yet since I've been back, and I don't want to, because I've already seen videos of the underpasses, the overpasses. It's getting worse. And it says, catch up quick. Recent surveys have uncovered concerns about the American dream declining or even already being extinguished. Axios' Dave Lawler reports only 36% of the respondents said the American dream, defined in its case of if you'll work hard, you'll get ahead, still held true, per a poll from October. That's a steep drop from previous polling. Yeah, I mean, we just passed the pandemic not too long ago, and it was the largest upward siphoning of the middle class's wealth that we've ever seen in the history of humanity. How many businesses, small mom and pop stores or independently owned, had gotten closed down with no recourse for the owners? How many millions of people lost all their nest egg savings? How many of those businesses that shuttered their doors shuttered them permanently? Quite a lot, man. In my town alone, I know the makeup of the restaurants I used to go to, the businesses I used to get services from, all disappeared. All that's left standing most of the time now are franchises from giant corporations that can withstand losses for months on end because their cash flow is so deep. So what happened post-pandemic is we shifted wholesale, all mom and pop stores with people that cared about their products and wanted to have good reputations and cared about their clientele and was locally owned. All that died out to corporations. So that's why you notice that the food is shittier than it's ever been. The service is worse than it's ever been. And all that's left is these mega corporations and their franchises, and they don't care. It's a race to the bottom for profits. Reputation, what, bro? I'm the only game in town. Me and the other corporation that are competing. All those cool spots that you used to go to, dead or dying. Meanwhile, younger Americans are struggling to get on the housing ladder, and Americans of all ages are increasingly pessimistic about the opportunities that will be available to the next generation. As one recent NBC poll found, how can they not? They just watched housing prices double within 2 years in their very eyes. They got priced out of absolutely every home they've ever wanted. The only thing you could buy is like a dumpster mobile home, and that's still, I looked at some mobile homes here in Arizona because I'm here for friends and family for the holidays. It is $250,000 to $330,000 for a mobile home on a little plot of land. Incredible. Opportunities presented by remote work and expat lifestyles reflected, see, here it is, in social media posts have led to some Americans to consider life overseas. Since 2020, there's been a rise in the digital nomad visa. Per the Europe-based law firm Lexity, dozens of countries now offering a visa pathway enabling remote workers to legally reside in the host country for a year plus under certain conditions. Across social media sites, including TikTok, some Americans are documenting their new lives outside of the U.S. while expressing shifting attitudes about the American dream. Yeah, the attitude shift is negative. And we lost our AAA rating too again. Who was it that? Someone in the comment section, let me know. I was reading that America got downgraded. Good news all around, right? JP Stonestreet and Amelia Batista, two married American expats who left Colorado and moved to Ecuador in 2017, now run a business for helping people live abroad and earn online income. See, think outside the box. We grew up in a country of opportunity for everybody. If you were smart and worked hard, you could achieve the American dream, and that's not the case anymore. It just takes one unforeseen incident to completely change that and take the dream away from you, said Stonestreet, who cited high living costs in the U.S. as a major part of the couple's decision to leave. Stonestreet and Batista said that they've seen a large increase in the number of people both thinking about and making a decision to move. And I've seen this too. There's a bunch of Americans in Bucharest, in the area I live. They're either passing through because they're thinking about moving, or some have become permanent expats. It's the same story. I'm never going back to that shithole I was from. I won't deal with the dating culture, the people, the rudeness, the violence, the crime that I had to deal with while paying thousands of dollars a month for mortgages, for rents. I'm not going to be treated like a slave at work anymore, clocking in, clocking out, being watched, micromanaged, all that stuff. They've all left all of that behind and seem much happier for it. Most of their online followers are people nearing or at retirement who realize they cannot afford to live in the U.S. anymore. And my uncle's going through this right now. It's, do you live on your pension in the U.S. where you're sure to starve to death because that pension's not going to cover shit? On top of the shifting prices in rent, the multiple hundreds of dollars that they're increasing it every year. Isn't that wild? And you're on a fixed pension and you're supposed to survive. If I'm a pensioner, dude, and I put in a lifetime of work in the U.S., I'm looking at the Philippines. I'm looking at Thailand. Those are the two cheapest places. A lot of people speak English, tropical climate, incredible beaches, incredible food and people, always happy. Fresh coconuts on the beach, waves, sand, I'm good. And you can get by with your American pension there and live the time of your life. You got to play catch up after a lifetime of working, dude, for the man. And if people are wondering, would you recommend Eastern Europe? I would not. Honestly, I would not. If I'm a pensioner, dude, living on $1,200, $1,500, $1,700, $2,500 a month, whatever your pension is, if you're in that range, if you're making sub $4K a month, I would go to Southeast Asia. It does not compare. Eastern Europe, even compared to Southeast Asia, is expensive. It's expensive by comparison. It's obviously cheaper than the United States. But I, as a pensioner, trying to get the maximum value out of my dollar, I'm going to Southeast Asia, and I don't care. It's not even a close call. The cost of living is too goddamn cheap to pass up. Sorry. I don't care if you don't, that's not your culture. You prefer Eastern Europeans. None of that shit matters. Sorry, bro. You're on a fixed pension. You're in a certain amount every month. And that means, how do I maximize my dollar? Where's the cheapest place that has the nicest amenities? Southeast Asia. Their infrastructure is incredible in the bigger cities. The beach towns are all amazing. Sunshine all around. It's everything you could ask for. The food is cheap. Again, I'm telling you, you get the most out of your dollar in Southeast Asia. Eastern Europe, not so much. I'm only in Eastern Europe because I was born here and I have family here and I speak the language natively. Assimilation for me is nothing. I am one of them. I fit right in on top of the roots that I have here. For me, it's different. If I didn't have any ties anywhere, my first tickets would have been somewhere like Southeast Asia because I love the sun. I love palm trees. I love coconuts, sand, and bikinis, and a really relaxed lifestyle that the locals probably have from all those things. That's where I'd be going. Says, though the two became mired in medical, student loan, and credit card debt prior to leaving the U.S., the pair is now debt-free since moving to Ecuador. Both in their 50s, the two said they're aging in reverse, which they mostly attribute to reduced stress from living outside of the toxic hamster wheel they refer to as the U.S. Nailed it. Of course, there's no data from a U.S. federal agency that explains that the true extent of Americans leaving the states for life abroad. As of 2020, the State Department estimated that 9 million U.S. citizens lived overseas, but according to the department spokesman, the agency no longer provides these estimates. The agency no longer provides these estimates. I wonder why. Of course, the data has to show that this trend is accelerating. These numbers could be doubling. These numbers could be tripling. This is not a good indicator of the economy. Imagine seeing the numbers skyrocketing and giving other hamsters on the wheel ideas about, maybe I should leave too. I wonder what that real number is. Wow, that's not a good sign, man. When they stop reporting on these numbers, they're headed in the wrong direction. It's an embarrassment for the State Department. It says U.S. citizens are not required to register their travel with the department. And the spokesperson told Axios that the agency does not want to provide potentially inaccurate figures. Oh, that's so cute. It remains the case that many people are seeking to move to the U.S. than away from it. But for younger generations of Americans, the world beyond the U.S. has grown more easily accessible and perhaps more appealing. And yeah, you don't need to watch TikToks to know that. Or maybe you do. If you've been propagandized your whole life to think like America's the end all be all, everywhere else is a third world shithole. And then you finally get to travel, or maybe you've seen those TikTok videos of people showing you day-to-day life there, and they're living better than you.
Hey everyone, if you have a minute, please head over to legionofmen.store and grab yourself some cool merch as well. We have a bunch of limited edition designs, brand new stuff on the way, and all the proceeds go to supporting the channel. We don't want to be sponsored by corporations where we have to submit videos for review, have our speech impeded, or push any products that we don't use. So thank you so much to everybody that goes into the shop. Again, it's legionofmen.store. I'll put it up here for you guys. First time customers get a 10% off, and we have a bunch of great designs by artists from the community that watch the channel and support. They get proceeds as well, a percentage of everything that gets sold. So community funded through and through. Again, appreciate you guys.